Don't care. Okay. Wow, what's up, guys? Hello. Welcome to my stream. Okay, there have been times. Wait, how many people are here? I don't care how many people are here. There are times where I've listened to this Zizek guy, okay, and I'm like, he's way too memey. Sometimes he's dangerously based. And I don't actually know in my mind if I've ever heard him say anything stupid, where I'm like, ooh, that guy's like kind of, he's a sued, he's a dip. He's, but you know, and sometimes retarded people say smart things. Like when I search my memory banks, I don't know why I have a negative impression of Zizek, because I do, but I don't know why. But I don't think I can recall him saying anything like stupid, or where it's like, ooh, this guy seems clueless. Maybe a little memey. And I don't know if I'll watch this full thing today or not, because someone didn't link me the full interview, I think. But strong accents just trigger Americans. Well, I mean, he's got a decently big speech impediment, but.
Yanis Varoufakis, who likes to repeat, Europa is kaput. No. I think that the first symptom is that what unites all around the world, left and right, they all hate united Europe. For example, Latino Americans claim Eurocentrism the worst. In Africa, you did the slavery blah blah first. Here I learned from intelligent right-wingers. It's not true. You know that the Muslims got more slaves from Eastern Africa than Americans, Latin Americans from the West. So then Putin against Europe, everybody, China and so on. Why is this happening when everybody is telling us Europe is over, but at the same time Eurocentrism is presented as the ultimate enemy? No, I think today history took care of, under quotation marks, bad aspects of Eurocentrism. But what remains is, are we aware, one argument, that even those who criticize European legacy, they do it strictly in the terms which were articulated by the European legacy.
I've never heard anybody smart talk about this before, but it is true that all of the criticisms of like this Eurocentric idea, which in the West, we call it America in the West, but it truly is, the originations are kind of like the Enlightenment in Europe, and then everything that kind of expanded from there. You know, bad things like imperialism and slavery and conquest, but good things like Enlightenment and reason and electricity and stuff like that.
European Enlightenment is the only
electricity might be a stretch too far, but you know what I mean.
Civilizatory view which includes, this will sound Stalinist, but I don't mean it, which includes self-criticism. In this sense, I think, look at the other models. Latino American left, okay, we know where Hugo Chavez and others finished. United States, Europe.
This is a very annoying but very true aspect of liberalism as well. And this is epitomized with Israel-Palestine, or Israel and the states that they fight, not to be an Israeli simp, but the only reason we can criticize so much about Israel's history is because Israel has made available archives that allow us to go through them and criticize their history. Everything you know about Plan Dalet and everything comes straight from Israeli archives. They archive stuff, they make it available to historians to peruse, and then Israeli historians publish about it. You will never have that level of transparency or anything even remotely close from any of the surrounding Arab, Persian, Turkish, whatever states, you know. So the self-criticism aspect of liberalism allows other liberals and people who are enemies of liberalism to be extremely critical of liberalism while somehow never turning that same lens towards themselves. But not only is there a built-in self-critical aspect of liberalism, there's like a built-in escape from other people being critical of themselves as well, because they will criticize Western ideology, I guess. They'll criticize it under Euro vernacular, but they won't allow other societies to be criticized because they'll say you're doing that under a Eurocentric vernacular. And it's like a very mindfucky scenario to be in, because what you essentially do is, in so many more words and in so much more academic loading, I say academic, but you know, whatever I've managed to pick up, what you've done is you've crafted the perfect system so that you are always wrong and the others are always right. And it's a very mindfucky world to be in. Like, the perfect distillation of this, I think, is the conversation I had with Was it Some Black Theory? I think might have been the guy's TikTok name. And I was like, hold on, what's your definition of racism? And he was like, when, I don't even remember the exact definition he gave, but the definition he gave tautologically basically made it so that only white people could be racist. Nobody else could be racist. I'm like, wait, well, hold on, this seems a little bit moot or reductive, or what's the point of this, you know?
European neoconservatives, it's a catastrophe. China, I respect them, but still, in contrast to another of my good friends who was here, Wang Hui, I don't think this Chinese attempt will propose a truly post-capitalist alternative. It's more complex. India, God forbid, no thanks. So I think, yeah, let's do all this standard whipping your back European masochism, but after all that, sorry, Europe is still the only thing we had. For example, I had a couple of years ago a debate with Judith Butler. And she was, as is fashionable, against European tradition, cogito, Cartesian, masculine, and so on. But I told her, but are you aware that modern feminism begins with Descartes? Many women already read Descartes.
One thing I liked about Zizek too is that Zizek is very much, Zizek is like the philosopher version, I guess a little bit of like Sean Carroll, and that he kind of does like, I really don't want to say pop philosophy, because Zizek is well-read and he doesn't do poppy bullshit, but he's like he's like a famous kind of guy, almost like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I wouldn't say he does pop science, because I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was an actual like astrophysicist who is like published, I'm pretty sure. He's not like a poppy, says random shit scientist. So Zizek has like a popular appearance. He likes media. He likes doing things like that. But he is, from my understanding, he's entrenched in like academic literature. He is very well read, and he's had debates with well-respected academic people. Judith Butler was an incredibly famous philosopher. We read two of her papers, I believe. I don't know if I read all on the stream. I think she wrote the one on self-defense that we read, and she was also the one that. Wait, there's another lady whose name sounds very similar. I'm not mixing her up. Is she the one that did the big paper on abortion? Wait. Abortion paper. The violinist argument comes from this paper. Or there's another Judith that I mixed her up. No, I'm sorry. That's Judith Thompson. Sorry. Judith Butler is a famous feminist philosopher, though. Sorry. But Judith Thompson was the abortion paper. Wait, now I wonder if Judith Thompson was the self-defense paper as well. Self-defense. Okay, Judith Thompson. Sorry. Both of Judith Thompson papers. Judith Butler is a very famous political philosophy and feminist writer, though. So he has like an engagement in all these different worlds, and he's not like a dipshit when he engages in academic stuff. He's intelligent and well-read.
And they said, because cogito doesn't have a sex, it's not, because pre-modern advocacy of women's rights is strictly disorganic, cosmic principle, yin, yang, masculine, feminine, they must be brought in balance. No, this is not the world of modern feminism. It begins with Descartes. So I still absolutely shamelessly insist that authentic European legacy is already radically self-critical. So more than ever, today we have to say Europe is our only hope.
Just an interesting set of things. I don't think I'll watch the full thing because it's fucking 2 hours long. Is this?
Did you notice one that
oh, this isn't even where it comes from. Never mind. Maybe you have a bad impression of Zizek because he identifies as a communist. I don't think so. There are interesting conversations to be had about things like communism or socialism, and there's even theoretical defenses of it, even from like an economic point of view. But most of the people online that call themselves communists or socialists, it's far more of an aesthetic than like an actual intellectual pursuit. So that's why most of them I immediately don't like. Somebody says, that Cenk was glazing MTG and Trump? Is that true? Or wait, show me where, what? Also, people like this don't get any credit, okay? People like this don't get any credit.
Pentagon.
Or rather, on a scale from 1 to 100, I'll give them 4 points of credit, okay? You get 4 points of credit.
Told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian, the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke. I mean, what an impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks and, man.
Who could have ever guessed? The guy that tore up the JCPOA, the guy that tore up the Iranian nuclear deal and said that we need to sanction them basically into prehistoric era, that guy was going to be a bad partner for negotiating with Iran? Wow, really? You're just now figuring this out? You blethering dipshit? Wow, just now? What, did you stop? Did the girl cock clear from your brain and now you can finally fucking see straight, or what?
I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like...
Oh, wait. I only listened to like the first minute of this. Sorry. Wait, so he walks it back? He takes back his endorsement of Trump now? Now he's admitted it was a mistake? Really?
The right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one, and not on some like not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like the
Donald.
Oh yeah, get that both sides in there. Oh, you sniveling cowardly fuck. Yeah, get that both sides in there because the votes have definitely been both sides historically. Oh no, wait. Oh, you're an alternative media. You don't have to know anything here, dipshit.
Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this. Because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that. You got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got.
Wow, Trump was going to be a bad politician. Now, the only out that I will give Dave, okay, because he's a comedian, is that sure, a lot of people say things, okay, but just because somebody says a bunch of shit doesn't mean that we know what they'll do when they'll be in office, right? So people like me might go, well, in the months and the years leading up to the election, Trump said this and said that, so he's going to do this. Now, maybe for people like Dave, they're like, well, it's not like we know what he'll do when he's in office, because a lot of politicians say a lot of things, right? So, at the very least, you could say that if you haven't actually had a term, oh no, wait. We had 4 years of Donald Trump in office already, and his rhetoric is completely and utterly unchanged. Oh shit, I guess there's no escapes for Dave. Never mind. I take back the 4 points I gave him. That's a 0 out of 100. What a fucking moron.
Neocons win. More war abroad, and bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
What has Trump done to make Mr. Smith so upset? We haven't launched U.S. troops or anything yet, have we? Did Trump say he's going to send people over there? No, Dave Smith is pretty anti-Israeli aggression too. And Trump is really just the best president for Israel in terms of Israel can now forge their own path forward, knowing that the United States will basically unconditionally back them no matter the fuck what. Trump will never, ever, 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 ever oppose anything Israel does. So.
They're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen. Thank you. And they think they all Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
What was this even about? Why is he talking about this? What was this meeting for?
That's it. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So
thank you. Thank you, media. Let's go. Up. Thank you. That's it. That's it. Thank you very much. Out. Go, guys. Out. Thank you. Katie, let's go. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. President, are you seriously considering guys trying to out?
Let's go. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go.
Here we go.
All Democrat-run cities, and they.
Wait. Boom! Essay submitted. 200 words, done. This week marks the 2-year anniversary of Mama JF being murdered and dumped in the forest, leaving our home and fully disappearing in spectacular fashion. I thought he said that. I thought I read a tweet from him like 6 months ago that said that she had contacted somebody. To this day, she has not been found in spite of the massive efforts of authorities to locate her. Before leaving, Mama JF had obsessively read a new exemplar of Permanent Record by Edward Snowden, which she had just bought, and explained that our cell phones are traceable and things of that nature. She left the family with many things, including a Bitcoin debit card on which about $20 of Bitcoin dust was left. Today I spent the dust on a burger and chicken nuggets for the family. This one's on you, Mama JF, wherever you are. Know that we are all doing awesome. I think he could have killed her. I feel like I would put it at 15% chance that he killed her. Or if we include he like put her in a situation knowing that she would die, like dropped her off in the middle of the wilderness with no tools or whatever, I would up it to 20%, okay? Like including killing or leaving to die. Read the replies. Croc, why is this weird? The situation might seem weird because JF Gary Epi reported his partner, Elora Petoine's disappearance months after she was last seen in June 2023, which is unusual. Its casual tone of the post, mentioning using her Bitcoin for a burger, contrasts with the seriousness of her still unresolved case. Wow. Look at this. Have you ever been to A7W? I don't know what the fuck that is.
To everyone in this room currently affected by the Trump administration, listen to me now. Do not give up. Do not stop fighting. Fight for you, fight for your family, fight for everyone you know, because this country is headed towards a second fucking Holocaust.
Okay. We need to get Trump to target Black Americans so that we can bring back the Black American civil rights crowd, because apparently they're the only people that know how to actually do protest demonstrations, like political oriented, policy oriented. Well, the suffragists, I guess, did as well. We need these people leading our movements again, okay? God damn. I will never be able to overemphasize like how much of an experience it had on me when I was in Savannah, and we were doing our Get Out the Vote stuff, and just because of demographics, because of voting stuff, because of what I've seen, like in my mind, White people tend to vote, affluent people tend to vote, older people tend to vote, and in my mind, like minority voters were just not that strong. And going up and down these neighborhoods, knocking on doors to inform people like where the ballot boxes were, when to go vote or whatever, in these older black neighborhoods with older black people. And it was just like door after door after door of like, honey, I already voted. I dragged my husband down. We already, all of us early voted. Of course we voted. We know this, blah, blah, blah. Every single person. These black people were like, single-mindedly focused on, these were insanely strong voting blocks. And they were dragging everybody else in their house to make sure that they went out and voted too. I wasn't expecting that, I guess. Such a huge contrast to, like, when I see white college kids and black college kids and all the college kids, like, nobody votes in minority community. This voting is a waste of time, and we all know it at this point. And it's like, these people take their vote very, very, very seriously.
Pentagon told George W. Bush.
We got to get them back out there. Okay, just kidding. That's the old black people. The new age kids don't think it does anything true. I mean, to be fair, I guess it's probably if I were to go to old white people, they would all be voting too, so... I mean, you say that, but the messaging on No King's Day was pretty solid, no? Yeah. I think that overwhelmingly, I think those protests went decently well. It was a big protest. I think one of the largest, top 3 last I saw, maybe the largest in the U.S., in U.S. history. And there wasn't any like mass violence or mass demonstrations. I shouldn't say demonstrations, I'm sorry, like mass violence, mass riots or anything like that didn't seem to materialize. But the only thing that we're missing, well, 2 things I still think we're missing is, 1 is having visible leadership for these, and then 2, like clear policy goals. Like, what does No King's Day mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, imagine, this is probably too far, but like, imagine if it was attached to an ask of like, Donald Trump needs to be impeached, and if you say you're not going to be on a yes vote for impeaching Donald Trump, we're not voting for you. Like, does that influence, some state or local elections? Does it influence some federal elections? Like, who knows? If somebody sees it like, oh, the largest protest in U.S. history had a bunch of people saying that you have to be yes to impeach Donald Trump. I don't know, maybe that changes some people. Maybe that changes some seats. Who knows? Maybe not, but... Can you please take a more active role in the subreddit moderation? The newer pro-Israeli members are just mindlessly amplifying any pro-Israel posts or propaganda. Why is everybody omega lolling? What happens to this? Does their shit get rocked in the middle of the... Wait, does somebody die in this? No, it's not. It would be... Steve looking to play this video no less than 10 times today. I don't get it. It's the best thing you'll see all day. And STL, what does STL stand for? St. Louis? Salt Take Licky? Just kidding. The protests are way too mixed. Quarter people yelling Free Palestine, quarter yelling trans rights. A good chunk was about democracy, which is great. But I talked to my partner about a unified front. Like, how is it that no one's poster said a single cohesive idea? Just blah, commie bullshit. It sucks that when I show people how MLK protested, they just don't listen. I don't know how you're doing that demonstration. To reiterate, it's not necessarily bad to have different movements together. I mean, like, this is what showing solidarity means, as long as it's not being used to exclude other people, and as long as it's not diluting the original, like diluting whatever your primary message is. So was it confirmed that the killer was a Republican who voted for Trump? That would be my guess. I mean, given that the guy has like a really strong preacher background or whatever the fuck else, and apparently he was registered as recently as 2022 is a Republican. I don't know how like 100% confirmed is. I don't know if I would go as far as that. Well, actually, I can tell you if he was a Republican or not. Hold on one second. Yes, he was 100% a Republican. He was. The Charlie Kirk isn't claiming that he's a Democrat at all anymore in this, and then no more talking about him. He was a Republican, 100%. 100% though. This is the broadcasting building after. Wait.
یونس شادلو سردبیر گروه دفاعی خبرگزاری صدا و سیما در این چند سال در تمام عملیات‌های
Can you check on the tenant media case with your Pacer account? If the files are publicly available or if the documents are available to buy, I could, but
وعده صادق جلوه اقتدار
I just realized how much 20 subs is. I'm lowering it to 10 subs. You can get 90% on a US state quiz. Oh, bro. Dude, hello? Were you not here? I memorized all the states. US state geography quiz. I can do all of them. If I remember them. New Hampshire. Michigan. Missouri. Iowa. Missouri, right? Oregon. Arizona and New Mexico, or New Mexico, Arizona? It was Arizona, New Mexico. Indiana. Illinois, Indiana. Indiana, Illinois. Illinois, Indiana, right? Yep. Hawaii. North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee, right? Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, New York, it's this guy, right? It's like a huge state, yeah, that nobody knows about. Idaho, oh, true. Vermont, Utah. Was this the block, right? Or is that Colorado? This is Colorado. No! Fuck! Wait. No, wait, hold on. It's California, Nevada. Is this Utah? I drive through Utah to get to California from Omaha, right? Did I? Oh, yeah, we did, okay. Iowa, Louisiana. Okay, I would always mix these up. It's Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia. No, Georgia's right here. Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia. Wait, which one is this? Louisiana. What's this guy? Whew. There's another southern state. What else is there? Florida, North Florida, Georgia. Georgia. Is this? Is Louisiana the shape of an L? I feel like I should just know that. That's an easy way to remember. What is this state? What the fuck? I'm sure it'll come up. Wait. Alabama, Georgia. Arkansas? Oh my god. Okay, who cares? Is Maryland this weird guy? Yeah. Alabama, Georgia. Alabama, Georgia. It is, right? It must be. No, it's not going to be. It is. Virginia. West Virginia. New Jersey. Tennessee. Connecticut. Which one of these is Pennsylvania? I think this might be Connecticut, and this is Pennsylvania. Is Is that a small state? Pennsylvania. The DMV area is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. That doesn't help me. Pennsylvania's a big ass fucking state. It's gotta be this little guy, right? No, Delaware. Oh my God. Bro, who knows these stupid fucking rando states? This is Wisconsin. This is Ohio, right? Okay. Oh, no, Oklahoma's over here. Wisconsin. Michigan? Wisconsin? Okay. What did that guy say I needed? I just needed 40%. Or 40 to 50. We got that. We have the rest of them. That's all we're missing. No more misses. Kansas. Texas. Okay, hold on. I'm about to speed mode this. Okay, Rhode Island. Oh, that one. Mississippi. Okay. New Mexico. West Virginia. Florida. Delaware. Pennsylvania. Colorado. Yeah, Alaska, Georgia, Maine. It's the one all the way up there, right? Wyoming. Oh, is this one? Who lives there? North and South Dakota. This one's Montana. Minnesota, California, Nevada, Massachusetts. There. Fuck you. Utah, Wisconsin, Connecticut.
و شکست هیمنه رژیم صهیونیستی رو به تصویر کشیدید. اینجا سازمان صدا و سیماست، مرکز فرماندهی جنگ رسانه ایران و مرکز ایران.
Damn, why's he got blood on his hands? You okay, bro?
Oh my God, Peter, what happened to your hair?
I don't know. I'm bald.
In fact, you're mentally retarded.
What? Okay.
Thoughts on political violence and or the political rhetoric in this country? You know what happened in Minnesota recently, but of course your family is familiar.
Blame the Dems. Let's go.
Familiar with threats and political threats.
Listen, my father's been shot at. I've been tried to, the other side has tried jailing me. They talk a lot about.
When they shoot at Republicans, it's Democrats' fault, and when they shoot at Democrats, it's definitely Democrats' fault.
The rhetoric and the violence, and yet it seems to be mostly caused by them. The 2020 summer of love did not seem like a summer of love. The politicians at high-level places encouraging people to attack my father did not seem fair. If Republicans were doing that, they'd be thrown in jail. When a Democrat does it, it's to preserve democracy.
If Republicans did it, they'd be thrown in jail as his dad pardons all the J6ers.
You don't think everybody's got to tune it down a little bit or turn it down a little bit?
I mean, let's do some vague placating and then blame Dems again. Vague placating and then blame Dems again. Let's go.
Listen, I think what we have to actually do, I would love to see all of that turned down.
There you go. Vague placating. Now switch it to the Dems. Remember, stay on message. Always blame the other side.
But I think I'm seeing it come from the left. Everyone.
Thank you. Good job. You got it. Yes. King. We got the talking points. Let's go.
Talks about Minnesota, but they don't talk about the guy seems to be a leftist. It's a Minnesota politician, or guy who was appointed by the Democrat governor, vice presidential candidate for the Democrat Party, Tim Walz.
Appointed by on some fucking. Like, it was like an unpaid board of local, city. There's probably 1,000 of these people that get appointed in the state. Like He's acting like the guy was the fucking attorney general of Minnesota or some shit. Oh my God.
Walz, the guy that committed those atrocities this weekend, is a Democrat that worked for Tim Walz, that had the flyers about the No Kings thing in there.
Now, I'm not sure about that, by the way, from what I've seen. I think he voted for your dad and things like that from what I've seen.
Well, I don't know about that. Oh, now do the strategy of like, well, I'm not entirely sure. I don't actually know anything about that, so I can't comment. So let's move back onto the stuff that I can lie about.
I'll believe that when I see it. But he was appointed by Tim Walz, a Democrat governor who's an ardent leftist pushing these things, and he attacked someone who voted against. He attacked a Democrat who voted against giving taxpayer funding and free health care to illegals across America. I mean, that doesn't seem like that should be a controversial thing to vote against. But if you're a Democrat that breaks away from the Democrats, they'll commit violence amongst themselves, it seems. And so that is scary. That should upset a lot of people. But watching the framing that this is some sort of MAGA person, it's just so predictable at this point. It's such nonsense.
Do you have any thoughts?
His plan is clear: incite violence and chaos in blue states, have an excuse to militarize their cities, demonize his opponents, keep breaking the law, and consolidate power. Why did my phone beep? Hold on. Oh. Our nation's ICE officers have shown incredible strength, determination, and courage as they facilitate a very important mission, the largest mass deportation operation of illegal aliens in history. Every day, the brave men and women of ICE are subjected to violence, harassment, and even threats from radical Democrat politicians, but nothing will stop us from executing our mission and fulfilling our mandate to the American people. ICE officers are herewith ordered by notice of this truth. Definitely not super on the nose 1984, but okay. To do all in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. In order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as LA, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. These and other such cities are the core of the Democrat Power Center, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base, cheat in elections, and grow the welfare state. Note that all of these states, I don't know about Illinois, but California and New York are absolutely net contributors to federal funds, but okay. Robbing good-paying jobs and benefits from hardworking American citizens. These radical left Democrats are sick of mind, hate our country, and actually want to destroy our inner cities. And they're doing a good job of it. There is something wrong with them. That is why they believe in open borders, transgender for everybody, and men playing in women's sports. Wow, we can name 3 issues, and 2 out of 3 are about girl cock. All right, hell yes. Wood Baby might have been kidnapped in Jordan. Look at her Twitter post. Wait, really? Hold on. Link me. I can't just scroll on her Twitter. That girl is a booty monster. Okay. And they're doing a good job of it. There's something wrong with them. Oh, that's right. Okay. And this is why I want ICE, Border Patrol, and our great and patriotic law enforcement officers to focus on our crime-ridden and deadly inner cities and those places where sanctuary cities play a big role. You don't hear about sanctuary cities in our heartland. I want our brave ICE officers to know the real Americans are cheering you on every day. The American people want our cities, schools, and communities to be safe and free from illegal alien crime, conflict, and chaos. That's why I have directed my entire administration to put every resource possible behind this effort and reverse the tide of mass destruction and migration that has turned once idyllic towns into scenes of third world dystopia. Our federal government will continue to be focused on the remigration of aliens to the places where they came from and preventing the admission of anyone who undermines the domestic tranquility of the United States. This is just an unhinged mess. But I guess we're so used to it at this point. It is what it is. You run a sanctuary state that illegally harbors foreign terrorists and willfully perpetrates a criminal invasion of the United States. The government of California does not recognize, but willfully and maliciously abrogates the supremacy of federal and constitutional law. Please exile these people. Please, 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 please exile. Please, whoever the next Democrat is. Wait, this has to be a meme. But this would be such a bad taste meme. There's no way this is real. But this is in such poor taste. Why would she do this? Okay, browsers, we're in international world. Some text goes from right to left. Figure this out. Hello? Why is it so hard to highlight? Fuck. Oh, it's because I'm retarded. I should start on the left and then go up like that. Never mind. No, fuck you. Make it easier for me, okay? You American bitch, you came to mock our death. You film and laugh while we fight for what is ours, from the river to the sea. And Allah had already given you victory at Badr when you were fewer in number. So fear Allah that you may be grateful. Surah Al-Imran, verse 123. Allah is great. Oh, shit. Wait, are there any programming languages written in other languages? Or are they all in English? There's no shot that this is real. I don't believe this.
Politics a little bit. I know that you had some discussions. I just wanted to talk.
Well, everyone's calling him a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. He would be offended if people called him a Democrat. So, but he, because of this board thing he was on for Governor Walz, it wasn't to serve. He was just serving the community. But I can't believe a political issue would cause him to do such a thing.
Did he ever bring?
I will say, be careful with people like this. Like, people could be talking shady. He could not know his friend as well he thinks he is. He could be overstating how much of a friend he is. Personally, at this point, I think there's like a good reason to believe that the guy was a Republican, just on the preaching videos and everything. But it's not 100%. Just be careful. What the fuck? What is this? You know what I pay a lot of money for, okay? You know what a useful tech product would be? Where the fuck is the auto clothes folding machine, okay? I would pay a lot of money for a machine where you threw all the clothes in and then it folded them perfectly. How has nobody invented this yet?
Senator or the representative who were targeted?
Like I was saying, no, he never talked about those people. I didn't know those people. I didn't recognize their names.
Any politicians he mentioned?
Well, gee, he mentioned Nancy Pelosi. He didn't like Jim Walz.
Tim Walz? They're like Jim Biden. But
Tim Walz? What would you say about him?
well, I mean, nothing. I mean, it's just normal. Oh, I don't like this that Tim Walz did this. I don't like that they did that.
Did you mention the protests that were planned for
He
yesterday?
never mentioned the protests.
What did you think of Trump?
We got it. 6 years
Standing
ago.
beside the foldy mate. Now, if you've got
Foldy
a
mate.
whole pile of laundry that you need to fold, I won't say this little device, this rather large device can do it for you. You simply feed them in. It takes shirts, pants, pillowcases. Can't take your big bed sheets just yet, but fed in the top, internal mechanism folds all your clothes and then delivers them folded at the bottom. Doing the folding.
Okay. If I have to get the shirt all stretched out at night and like that, at this point I've already done half the fucking work. Well, at this point I'll just fucking fold it, okay? I need a giant funnel that I just dump my clothes into and then it folds them, all right? That's what I need.
Folding.
What come of the cook?
Give me one more.
Another one.
Take another one, right. This is busy work. So now will they come out the bottom now?
Yeah, now we can wait. We can, continue doing it as much as we want until it's full on the bottom.
Oh, so now I just pick them up?
Eject it,
Yeah.
and then you could...
Can you eject it so I can pick them up? So there are the clothes I folded. That was hard work. The foldy mate did it all for me. Every household needs one of these. I know I'd love one. Save me having to
I
fold.
worked at a dry cleaner place for a while and had one of these machines, much larger though. You just need to throw the shirt flat on the sticky thing and then it would feed into the machine and fold it automatically.
All the laundry, this will do it for you.
Oh, two good questions. Okay. One, how do you know if there's like a good dry cleaning place? So I need to have like a thing to get my suits cleaned, right? If I'm gonna wear these, I need to get them cleaned. How do you know if a place is like, can do high quality stuff and it's gonna like destroy my shit? Everybody's just spamming Asian because they're retarded. Okay. If you know the answer, email me. The second question is, fuck, I don't know why I'm asking my child these questions. You guys are fucking retarded. The second question is in America, is it a faux pas to wear black suits that aren't at funerals? Because if I have like another court hearing, this is obviously the best excuse for me to wear any of my newer suits. But I feel like the navy blue seems to be like the standard male suit that you wear for formal occasions. And in America, I don't know if men wear black suits ordinarily or if that's exclusively for funerals. Is it black or charcoal? Black suit is fine at court and other formal functions. I don't know, actually. Let me check. I don't know what color they are. It's like a black pinstripe, and the other one is a more traditional navy blue. I think technically my last one wasn't a solid navy blue. It was also like a pinstripe one, but really highbrow celebrations / casinos. The black suit works really well. I think James Bond type shit. Does James Bond do American functions, or does James Bond Because I think for Brits, I think in America, I could be wrong, but I think in America, the navy blue suit is unique in that in Europe, I think it's pretty ordinary for men to wear black suits to formal functions. But in America, I don't know if men typically wear black suits to formal functions. I'm not sure. Who do you endorse for New York City Mayor? I haven't followed that election at all, so. Black suits are worn every day by accountants and other business professionals. What would I see? What's like a formal gathering in the USA? What event could we look at? A US wedding. Traditional English wedding. American wedding. American formal wedding. American formal wedding male outfits. Wedding dress code.
So one of your friends is getting married, you get that beautiful wedding invitation, and you see the dress code, you have absolutely...
You're right. Actually, I don't know if this would be... Okay. American appropriate suit guide formal function. How to wear a double-breasted, does he mean breasted? 3 gentleman rules you must follow when wearing a suit. 7-minute dress code guide. All right.
In today's video, gentlemen, I'm going to show you what clothing to wear for any
the real men, real style champ.
Fabric.
Fuck. I wanted a black pinstripe, so I got black. I don't have the gray. Maybe I should have gotten a gray. Oh no.
Now,
what?
however,
Okay.
a light blue dress shirt is...
Did you get your suspenders? I did, but apparently they're not called suspenders, and I'm not supposed to call them that. They're called braces. I picked up a pair of these, though. From Trafalgar. Is that Robert Downey Jr., the Hispanic version? Breaking Bad?
Also,
suit jackets can double as sports jackets, right? They don't have to be made of a different material? Like one of my suit jackets can also double as a sport jacket, or is it a totally different thing? Like, am I able to wear my suit jacket with like a t-shirt and jeans or something, or no? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
And blazer, and instead go...
The company that contacted me, that's old news, bro. They said that they weren't comfortable pursuing anything because I was making fun of yourself some shirt stays. They clip between your button-down tails and your socks. I wore them in the Navy to keep the shirt crisp. That sounds sick. Although I don't know how annoying that would be to wear. Wait, fuck! No!
They will satin going down the leg. Belts...
For some black theory, you do acknowledge that when talking about American historical racism, that is a reference to hiring practices, bank loans, infrastructure access, human rights, etc. That's how he frames racism. I think it's clear that there is a different thing than a black person calling a white person a mayo monster today, which he called prejudice. Here is one of the biggest issues that I have with the TikTok people, okay? And with conversations like that. I don't like it when there are a group of people that probably agree 99% conceptually, but the language is getting in the way, okay? Like, we have an understanding of what racism is, so we just call it racism, okay? When people are saying things based on the color of somebody's skin or discriminating, we call that racism. If you want to talk about more elaborate forms of racism, or if you want to talk about like structural racism, we can call that structural racism or systemic racism or the vestiges of old like racism. We just say that. I don't know why people insist on redefining things and then the language gets in the way and then you're starting arguments over stuff where there's not even like meaningful disagreement, you know? Everybody keeps, I know, trying to point me to Derek, but I'm pretty sure that Derek guy fucking hates me because I think he's a huge lefty. And I think he's a huge Hassan fan. I like the guy, but I'm never tweeting at him because I'm pretty sure he would just roast me and blow me up the whole time. Because I'm a neoliberal, an N-word.
The first suit you should buy is a black suit. Black suits can go to everything. Every man has to own a black suit. After you get a black suit, there's 5 suits you need to get black.
I thought navy was the standard American suit. I could be wrong, or maybe I'm just over-selecting for TV shows that... Because I feel like the navy blue suit, I feel like it's like the classic American male suit.
Black suit, there's 5 suits you need to get black, navy, gray, brown, tan. You get those 5 suits, you get yourself 2 white shirts, get yourself 2 cream color shirts, and 2 powder blue shirts. You can make 75 suits with those combinations, because every last one of those pants go with every last one of those jackets. Every last one of the jackets goes with every last one of the pants. You cannot mess up. The beige pants will go with the gray jacket. The gray jacket goes with the brown pants. The black.
I also don't know what this is. What is this jacket? What is he wearing here? This isn't an ordinary suit jacket, right? It doesn't look like it the way the, whatever this is. Not that it's good or bad. I can't. I have no foundation to critique any of this. So.
Pants go with everything. Get you 3 basic color shirts: blue, cream, and white.
Black pants go with it. Can you wear black pants with a navy suit? I feel like that would be hugely not right.
Brown pants. The black pants go with everything. Get you 3 basic color shirts: blue, cream, and white.
This has 2 sets of buttons. You can't wear oh yeah, like to a funeral. I don't think you would ever wear a navy suit.
And then just get yourself some Steve Harvey ties and start living your best life.
Uh-oh. Steve Harvey is wrong.
Okay guys, so recently I've been seeing this video going around of guys on TikTok listening to what Steve Harvey has to say, where he says every guy needs these 5 suits.
Every man has to own a black suit. After you get a black suit, there's 5 suits you need to get: black, navy, gray, brown, tan.
Here's the problem with that advice. Not every guy can pull off a tan suit. Not every guy can pull off a black suit. Gray and navy. Here's the problem with that advice. Not every guy can pull off a tan suit.
Is Obama not pulling off a tan suit here? Skin is too dark? Is that the issue? Or I feel like this makes his face pop really weird, but I don't know if this is like the photo or not.
Not every guy can pull off a black suit.
I know very little about really any fashion, so careful with what I say, but I feel like 2 huge problems with this are: 1, the jacket seems too tight, but maybe not because he's moving, and 2, it looks like he's wearing cheap plastic doctor gloves. These are positive. Oh, those are positive examples. Oh, okay. Oh, but then forget exactly what I said, I guess. Okay.
Not every guy can pull off a black suit. Gray and navy, yes. And black.
He's a spy, true. Maybe gloves are more common for British outfits? Or maybe gloves are common sometimes. I don't know.
Black, it should be reserved for funerals, weddings. That's really the only place you're going to be able to pull off a black suit.
Okay, that was my understanding for black suits, for dark suits. Or not dark, I'm sorry, for black suits, yeah.
So as much as I love Steve Harvey, I think he's wrong when he tells you that that's what he needs. Then in the video, he further goes on to talk about that you need a cream shirt. Who wears cream shirts?
You get yourself 2 white shirts, get yourself 2 cream color shirts, and 2 powder blue shirts.
Which I agree with the blue shirt, I agree with the 2 white shirts, but who's going to wear a cream shirt? What can you really wear a cream shirt with? I've never seen a guy in menswear, other than maybe him, wear a cream shirt. So I get the point that he's trying to get guys to dress up and, you know, make it simple and keep it simple, but that's just bad advice.
Those are driving gloves? Okay.
You can make 75 suits with those combinations, because every last one of those pants go with every last one of those jackets. Every last one of the jackets goes with every last one of the pants. You cannot mess up.
So the whole premise of that video is that he's basically saying you can make 75 combinations with those 5 suits and those 3 colored shirts. I get the principle, but in reality, some of those suits are not great. If you're a guy that's really pale, you're not going to be wearing tan. You're not going to be wearing a black suit because it's going to be too stark of a contrast. So I like the styles that Steve Harvey wears. I think he looks very great in a suit, and most of his advice I think you should follow, but not this advice. So guys, that's my take on that TikTok video voiceover that you've been hearing from Steve Harvey. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And with that being said, I'm Robert, this is Gent Style, and I will see you in the next video.
Thanks, Rob. This guy's suit is way too tight around the arms. Oh, because of all the creases here?
My take on that.
Maybe he's just fucking shredded. Maybe it's hard to find a suit for 36-inch biceps. Different versions of this audio keep going around, but none of the outfits work because suit jackets can't always be worn as sport coats. Pinstripe is distinctly a suit pattern. Fine worsted gray wool is also only for suits. Not everything can be broken up like this.
Own a black suit. After you get a black suit, there's 5 suits you need to get: black, navy, gray.
How does this guy sound so similar to Steve Harvey? What the fuck?
Gray, brown, tan. You get those 5 suits. You get yourself 2 white shirts. Get yourself 2 cream color shirts and 2 powder blue shirts. You can make 75 suits with those combinations. Because every last one of those pants go with every last one of those jackets. Every last one of the jackets goes with every last one of the pants. You cannot mess.
Really though?
So, the beige pants will go with the gray jacket. The gray jacket goes with the brown pants. The black pants go with everything.
Generally, I don't like commenting on regular people's content, but it's concerning how many people are spending a lot of money because of these viral videos. The language of suit versus sport coat fabrics is about more than color. It includes texture, sheen, pattern, etc. If you want to read more. There's really not a single line in this video that's true. Very few men should own a black suit. Few men also need to own 6 suits. Mixing jacket plus pants does not make a suit. Also, black worsted trousers should not be worn with sport coats. We'll end on a happy note and say this is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. Also, please don't do this on high-end shoes. You may even damage the stitching in the channel. Wait, why is he doing this? This is old school shoe maintenance to add traction. I thought, why not just buy some tennis shoes? I do the same thing to my feet. I'm dazed.
Crisscross, straight up and down.
Wait, what is this? Wait, what's happening right now?
See how rough that is? Ain't no slip. Kills all the slip. Ain't got slip no more, baby.
I feel like this is like the equivalent to like ketchup on a really good steak. You ever take somebody to a steakhouse and they order like a really nice piece of meat, they get it medium rare, and then they ask for ketchup? You ever had this experience before? Imagine you go to some store and you buy like some $300 pair of whatever the fuck, and you cash out and you take your pocket knife out and you start. What's your a suit jacket, sport jacket, or sport coat and blazer? A friend of mine recently emailed me to ask whether he accidentally bought a suit jacket by mistake when he wanted a sport coat. I see this thing happen often. Let's break down the difference. First, understand that a suit is just a garment where the jacket and pants have been cut from the same cloth. This distinguishes it from the frock coat, which is what proper gentlemen wore before suits became popular. Damn, why are the women all so fucking tall in these old pictures? What's going on here? What were they eating back then? By the early 20th century, the frock coat fell out of favor and was replaced by suits and sports coats. See how the suit on the left is made to be worn with matching pants. The sport coat on the right is made to be worn with pants cut from a different cloth. A suit can be made from almost anything: cotton, linen, seersucker, the fuck, thorn-proof tweed, cavalry twill. I feel like he makes some shit up and he puts it in here, etc. It can also come in any color. although it's most traditionally made in sedate colors such as various shades and hues of blue, gray, brown, and green. When you go into a store, however, you'll mostly see suits like these. These are made from worsted wool, which is a smooth, often slightly silky, sometimes slightly shiny fabric. Fabric nerds, please don't actually me about worsted. I have character limits. Is this what mine are made out of, you think? There are two kinds of stays. Ones with the loop for feet, easier to put on, can be seen. The ones that clip on the socks let you show off your socks. Okay, I'll maybe look at this later. The reason why you want to know the difference between a suit jacket and a sport coat is because you never want to dress like it's below. You don't want to look like you accidentally spilled some of your suit pants and changed out of them. The jacket here is too formal for pants. But remember, some suits can be broken into separates. Corduroy, there's a perfect example. If you have a corduroy suit, you can easily wear the jacket with matching corduroy pants or pants cut from a different fabric. Corduroy works a suit or a sports coat. I don't know how I feel about him using like black and white pictures to represent this, but okay, we get the point, I guess. So how do you know when you can wear a suit jacket on its own? Clothing is a social language. So much of this is about training your eye for what looks right, just as you would train your ear to know what sounds right. However, I can give you some guidelines. Generally speaking, the rougher, fluffier, and more visible the weave, the more likely you're looking at a sport coat. Conversely, the finer and flatter the weave, the more likely you're looking at a suit jacket. Silky worsted wool, suit, tweed, sports coat. Certain patterns can also be clues. Pinstripes and chalk stripes always indicate something is meant to be worn as a suit. I think two or three of my suits are like that. Fine patterns or weaves, such as bird's eye and nail head, and small-scale herringbones also tend to be reserved for suits. Scale of pattern also matters, although suits can come in big, bold patterns and sport coats in quiet and subtle ones. The more successful sport coats tend to have larger scale designs. It's a way of saying this is something to be worn to a business meeting. Look at these two coats. They are both made with the same pattern, a Glen check. They even have similar colors, but the sport coat has a much larger scale pattern, which distinguishes it as more casual than the suit jacket, which should only be worn with matching pants. Some other details can be a giveaway, patch pockets, leather-wrapped buttons, and fewer than 4 buttons at the sleeve are all casualizing details. Jetted pockets, on the other hand, are typically reserved for suits, although not always. What suit is this? Damn. Wait, is that, Santana? No. Not Santana. Wait, fuck, the name of the guy. Wait, Santos, not Santano, Santos. George, our boy. Oh. This can all sound overwhelming at first, but you can avoid the worst by sticking to a simple rule. Don't wear navy, gray, or black jackets made from silky, smooth wools on their own, especially if they have flapped or jetted pockets. These are suit jackets and need matching suit pants. Fuck, okay. I think all 3 of my jackets might be like that then. What is a blazer? I've seen a lot of people here mistake suit jackets and sport coats as blazers. Here's a long history of blazers encapsulated in a neat little chart. One definition comes from the history of club blazers, where people wore unusually striped or trimmed jackets to distinguish themselves as members of a rowing, boating, or yachting club. We need DGG blazers. Holy shit. Damn. The other definition comes from a history of schoolboy blazers, which were also sometimes a distinguishing feature of club blazers, essentially navy sports coats with metal buttons. The buttons sometimes have emblems of the organization. It's very rare to see boating blazers nowadays out in the wild. When people correctly use the term blazer nowadays, they mean a navy sport coat made with buttons that look like this. If you like tailored clothing, a navy sport coat is the most useful garment you can own. Start with that in a slightly textured material, distinguish it from navy suit jackets. Hopsack, Sergey, and mock leno all work.
Every last one of the jackets.
Oh, somebody died. Let me just make sure my door is locked. Hold on. Just making sure. Can't go out that way, boys. Here's my suggestion for a Steve Harvey wardrobe. That is a minimal number of purchases, but with the highest impact and most versatility. Like Harvey, I'm only talking about tailored clothing. First, most men could use a dark worsted suit because that is still the expected uniform for weddings, funerals, court appearances, and some religious services. Get a single-breasted notch lapel suit in dark gray or navy, and the things you need to wear with it, shirt, tie, etc. Next, get a notch lapel, single-breasted navy sport coat. What is the breast? What does it mean to be single or double-breasted? What does that mean? Remember, a sport coat is not the same as a suit jacket. We already got that. You live in a very hot, humid climate. You want a softly... Oh, no one cares. Okay. Double versus single-breasted suit. That's how many rows of buttons on the front. Oh. Makes sense. Wait, no shot. Is this true? Another reason to hate him? Donald Trump's preferred dinner is a well-done steak, bottomless Diet Coke, and a tray of gummy bears. What? Okay. Streamed 2 days ago.
We speak here. We even asked about Mr. Bolter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again, his roommate and best friend, known him since
I think
fourth grade,
everybody is sourcing this one guy. Everybody's sourcing this one
Say.
guy. Now, I don't think we have any reason right now to believe that he's lying, and it seems like he's probably right, but... Okay, sorry. 2 more quick things on this. Just curious.
Should you own a black suit? The first suit you should buy is a black suit. Black suits can go to everything. Every man has to own a black suit.
Now, I know Steve Harvey says you should buy a black suit, but hear me out. Hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you're a funeral director or an undertaker, you have no business owning or wearing a black suit. Black should be limited to your dinner clothes, specifically your dinner suit. If you wish to wear a dark suit, clothes substitutes that are much more elegant are going to be charcoal gray or midnight blue. So, gentlemen, ladies as well, no black suits. Take all your black suits, throw them out, or as Pete would say, burn them.
Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll discuss whether or not that most ubiquitous of business outfits, the black suit, is actually a stylish look or not.
Jesus Christ. Okay, this is the last one, fuck it.
In the world of men's suits, which is to say ensembles with jackets and trousers as well as optional waistcoats, which are all made from the same materials, there are an almost unlimited number of colors available, to say nothing of patterns and textures. As a general rule, though, brighter and bolder colors are seen as less formal, whereas various shades of gray, blue, and sometimes brown are seen as more formal and therefore business appropriate. On that topic, you can find our video on how to pair shirts and ties with gray suits here, as well as our video on the first 5 suits we believe a man should own here. Aside from gray, blue, and brown,
do you think you can ever mute too much?
There is one other color that's fairly widely seen in suiting, and that's black. And while a black suit would certainly be more conservative than something in a flashy color like electric pink, for instance, today's video is going to tackle the question of wearing a black suit is something you should do as often as many men try to. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you may already be forming an idea of what our opinion is on this topic. After all, we've previously done a video on why we believe black is the most overrated color in menswear, and you can find that video here. Damn. However, we believe there's more to say on the topic of black suits specifically, so that's what we'll cover in today's video. Before we get to the main question of whether or not we think you should wear a black suit, though, let's preface it with this question. Why is it that black suits are so widely seen today? The answer has a lot to do with the fact that the typical dress of the general populace around the world, but especially in the United States, is largely dictated today by what famous and otherwise notable people are wearing, be they celebrities, politicians, or people in similar fields. And to focus in on men, what do we see these famous individuals wearing? We see them wearing black ensembles at award shows, black ensembles in music videos, black ensembles at political debates and other state functions. In short, the color black is everywhere.
Are these black suits? Am I crazy? Or like this looks like a black suit right here. These are not the same color though, right? Okay.
With that said, though, the presence of black ensembles in these various situations can ultimately be divided into 3 camps: appropriately formal, high fashion, or ultimately misguided. To go over these cases in order then, we'll start with the question of formality. When we see men wearing black ensembles at award ceremonies and other similar functions, they aren't wearing, or at least shouldn't be wearing, conventional black business suits. Rather, they're adhering to historical dress codes where the formality of black is appropriate. These, of course, would be black tie or tuxedos, white tie or tailcoat ensembles, or formal daywear or morning dress featuring cutaway coats.
Jesus.
By the way, if you'd like to learn more about any of these most formal of men's dress codes, you can check out the comprehensive guides to each of them we have on our website here. In these kinds of formal situations, a black business suit wouldn't be formal enough in its details and styling, and would therefore be an ill-advised choice to wear. Next, the case of high fashion. Of course, black is the bedrock of the fashion world for both men and women. You don't really need to look any further than the little black dresses that women wear to award ceremonies or in movies and on runways and so forth. And for men, there are all kinds of black garments as well, like black turtleneck sweaters, black leather jackets, and black suits. As an example, famous designers like Tom Ford and Karl Lagerfeld have made black suits their signature ensemble over the years as a way to look stark and chic. But there's an important distinction to be made here too, and it can actually best be summed up in famous words from another designer, Yves Saint Laurent. He said, "Fashion fades, style is eternal." What we mean by that is this. If you'd like to look hip, trendy, on point, and so on, there's nothing wrong with you wearing an ultra skinny fit black suit, white shirt, and black necktie. More power to you if you'd like to do it. But on the whole, black suits, and especially...
Jesus. I feel like this would be... I don't know, actually. Are these ankle socks or no socks with this? I feel like this is a very particular outfit. Like if you showed up at a formal event with this, is that normal? The pants seem very tight. And the lack of socks or like the ankle or whatever socks or whatever are... This looks like an Andrew Tate tier suit, but maybe I don't know.
Black suit, white shirt, and black necktie. More power to you if you'd like to do it. But on the whole, black suits, and especially monochromatic all-black looks, don't have a place in the traditional style canon of the early 20th century, which of course is our focus here at the Gentleman's Gazette. Phrased another way, black suits, black shirts, and so on undeniably have a place in modern fashion, but they're harder to implement well in a classic gentleman's wardrobe. Finally,
no-show socks are great, just wear longer pants. When you say that, it makes it sound like the no-show socks aren't great, and you're wearing longer pants to cover it up, no?
Here, we touch on the case of individuals who are probably simply just misguided. The main culprits in this camp are politicians. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hold any specific political beliefs, because that's not what we're talking about here when we say misguided. Rather, what we mean is that most politicians from various political parties all across the Western world, but again, particularly in America, have adopted the black business suit as a sort of default uniform over the last 30 years or so. But again,
I can't tell if I'm getting like blue dress, like a white dress or whatever vibes because of the light. Is this a black suit? This might be a black suit. It looks like a black suit over here. But is it? Or is it dark blue? I can't tell.
particularly in America, have adopted the black business suit as a sort of default uniform over the last 30 years or so. Why is it that they've done this? Probably it's an effort to look as serious and businesslike as possible. And last 30 years or so. Why is it that they've done this?
I don't think, am I crazy? I don't know if any of these are black suits, except...
Probably it's an effort to look as serious and businesslike as possible.
Okay, this is not a black suit. I can't tell. I can't tell I'm getting mind fucked.
And in reality, while a black suit certainly is serious, it's not all that appropriate.
Is that supposed... Is he saying this is a black suit?
Appropriate for most business settings, and so it ultimately looks somewhat out of place. If we look back further, though, to presidents and other political figures of the early to mid-20th century, we'll see that they weren't afraid to wear suits in various different shades of blue, gray, brown, and other colors. As a notable example here, we can look at President Harry Truman, who, believe it or not, was actually once a haberdasher before he eventually ascended to the Oval Office. So, to sum up these points, the reason that black suits are so ubiquitous in society today
is... This suit is clearly a black suit. Like, full 100%, right?
Largely as a result of various adjacent figures coming together on society as a whole. With that in mind, then, we reach our main question for today: should you wear a black suit? Our answer, in a nutshell, is not often. As we laid out above, there are better choices for most scenarios. Firstly, formal events should be given their proper due with adherence to formal day wear or black and white tie. On that note, you can find our recent series on the differences between suits and tuxedos, as well as appropriate situations for black tie and white tie, here. Meanwhile, more politicians should feel free and confident enough to shun the confines of the black suit uniform, and while high fashion can have its own trends, we believe that classic menswear follows a different set of guidelines.
Unless there's some intersection between formal wear and high fashion that I'm completely unaware of. I don't know why high fashion is being discussed at all in this as well. I don't know if the formal wear world takes any cues from the high fashion world. Maybe it does, but...
Setting aside all of the points we've laid out so far today, there is one other major reason why we believe most men shouldn't wear black suits often.
Why?
And that comes down to a matter of contrast.
Okay.
While it is true that the stark contrast of a black suit, white shirt, and black necktie can have a flattering effect on the silhouette of many men, it's also true that there's a downside to this, in that stark contrast between the black and white can also wash out the complexion of many fair-skinned or fair-haired men. This, of course, is especially true when out and about during the day and in direct sunlight. Of course, men who have darker complexions or darker hair could probably get away with wearing a black suit more easily. Sunlight. Of course, men who have darker complexion.
I don't know if this guy's skin... It's very hard to tell if his skin is actually lighter than his skin, because these are significantly different photographs. Like, this looks like a picture taken with like a front flash photography camera, which is of course going to, especially on a shitty camera, it's going to overexpose and wash the fuck out of your face. This is taken, this photograph is clearly, if it's a photograph, it's taken with, what do you, I don't do photography, what do you call the off-center flash? Like, or a side, there's a name for this that photographers will use. Where are my photographers at? Oh my God. Is it just called an off flash? There's a name for, it's not fill or any of that. Never mind, fuck you guys, hold on. What's it called? It might just be called an off-camera flash. But this is very clearly like a totally different style of photograph. So I don't even know if like one guy's wearing the right suit, one guy's wearing the wrong suit, or if we're just seeing like different pictures of both, no? I don't know.
Or darker hair could probably get away with wearing a black suit more easily, but the fact of the matter remains that for a large amount of men, black suits in the daytime are just going to wash you out. This could perhaps be mitigated to some extent by livening up the black suit with colorful accessories or maybe even a pastel-colored dress shirt. But still, black will wash out your complexion if you wear it during the day. Meanwhile, conventional black evening wear circumvents this issue by virtue of its being worn out of direct sunlight in the evening and nighttime, and also ideally out of harsh fluorescent light as well. With that said, you can take a look at our video on finding the best colors for your skin tone here. So there's our list of reasons why we think most men shouldn't wear a black suit often. With all of that said though, here's a brief list of some situations where black suits would indeed be appropriate. The first situation, as you may have guessed, would be funerals. Black has an historical association with mourning, and while formal day wear or evening wear would probably be seen as too celebratory in tone, a black business suit can strike the right somber tone that would be appropriate for a funeral. If you'd like to learn more, you can find our video on funeral etiquette here. The second scenario here would be musical concerts. While the world of classical music does have an association with white tie and black tie that's still ongoing today, a more contemporary and popular alternative to these dress codes has been the rise of the so-called concert black dress code. The objective here is that the musical ensemble look as uniform and consistent as possible so that what the audience will focus on will be the music itself. And our third and final scenario here is in situations relating to religion. Worship leaders such as priests and pastors will often these dress codes association with. The second would be appropriate for a funeral. If you'd like to learn more, you can find our video on funeral etiquette here. The second scenario here would be musical concerts. While the world of classical music does have an association with white tie and black tie that's still ongoing today, a more contemporary and popular alternative to these dress codes has been the rise of the so-called concert black dress code. The objective here is that the musical ensemble look as uniform and consistent as possible.
Is he talking about a dress code if you want to go to a concert or if you're in a concert? I can't tell. Because if you're performing, then the conductor or whoever is directing the thing is going to tell you what your dress code is, and you have to adhere to it. So I don't know why we would ever give advice to the people in they're going to tell you what you have to wear.
So that what the audience will focus on will be the music itself. And our third and final scenario here is in situations relating to religion. Worship leaders, such as priests and pastors, will often wear black suits, as will adherents to certain sects of religious tradition, like Hasidic Jews or the Amish. Those are the three key situations where a black suit could be worn with a relative degree of style. To relate these points on a personal level, the black suit I'm wearing in today's video was purchased just earlier this year. I bought it so that I could participate in a choral concert where the dress code was indeed concert black, and also to attend a funeral around the same time. Finally today, if you've gotten this far into the video and decided that you're still set on wearing a black suit, here are our tips for how you can do it well. First and foremost, and as we've said countless times before on the channel, fit is everything. And while we're
Met Gala is supposedly white tie, but people wear all sorts of high fashion weird stuff. I thought the whole point of the Met Gala was to wear high fashion stuff. Like that's what people do there, or wear weird stuff.
Usually big fans of a classic, more full-cut silhouette, still in relation to your overall body type. Our videos on how a suit should fit, which you can find here, are perfect examples of this. We do believe that a slightly trimmer cut in a more modern style, though not ultra skinny, will help you to wear a black suit during the daytime without it looking like it's swallowing you up. Just make sure that all of your bases are covered in that your shoulders, chest, and midsection are well fitted, and that your trousers aren't baggy or puddling around your ankles. Our next tip here is to try to incorporate a bit of color into your outfit. As we mentioned earlier, the black suit, white shirt, black tie look is one that's only going to flatter a very small fraction of men. Therefore, wearing a shirt, tie, or other accessories that add a bit of color to liven up the outfit will take some of the somber. Therefore, wearing a shirt, black suit, white shirt, black tie look is one that's only going to flatter a very small fraction of men. As we mentioned earlier, the black suit, white shirt, black tie look here is to try to incorporate a bit of color into your outfit. As we mentioned earlier, the black suit, white shirt, black tie look is one that's only going to flatter a very small fraction of men. Therefore, wearing a shirt, tie, or other accessories that add a bit of color to liven up the outfit will take some of the somber tone out of the black suit. By the way, if you'd like to learn how to use the color wheel to assemble better outfits, you can take a look at our video on that subject here. Our third tip would be to stay clear of shiny fabric finishes. Nothing is going to make you look more like a teenager wearing his first suit than an all-black ensemble in a cheap, shiny finish. Suits with a more matte finish are going to look more refined, and you should try to opt for wool or wool blends rather than synthetics. Also, a slightly textured weave will help to give the black suit a bit more character. On a related note, patterned black suits can look more lively than solids. You should avoid bold stripes unless you want to look like a mafia don at Halloween, but something like a pinstripe or wide check pattern could look good if it were subtle. On that note, you can find our guides to stripes in menswear here, and just keep in mind that if you are wearing a black suit with a pattern, it should be done confidently. Which brings us to our final tip today, which is that a black suit should always be worn with confidence and cool. We laid out
what are the suits you can wear if you're lacking confidence and you're a loser?
numerous reasons today why a black suit shouldn't be your first choice very often. A navy or charcoal colored suit would be much more versatile and indeed more elegant in many situations. Therefore, wearing a black suit in spite of all this knowledge requires the confidence to say, I know the rules well enough to flout them. As with any ensemble, you want to have the effect that you're wearing it rather than having it wear you. To sum everything up then, while there are certain situations where a black suit would be appropriate, we don't believe that it should be the primary suit in any gentleman's work.
Like, unless this is for a super important position, it just seems over the top. What situation would you wear a suit for? In my life, basically only my court stuff. I don't think I go to places where suits are ever expected uniforms, so. But I have some, so I just wanted for my court shit to look nice, I guess.
Here's one more reminder today to take a look at our video on why we think black in menswear is so overrated, and also to take a look at our ongoing playlist in the Should You Wear series here, which covers various other questions on menswear topics. It should be obvious that I'm wearing a black suit in today's video just to illustrate some of the principles that we outlined. As I mentioned previously, I purchased it not too long ago to wear for both a concert and a funeral, situations where a black suit can be appropriate. I've paired it today with the conventional white dress shirt, although a shirt in a different light pastel color like lilac or pink might also have worked to harmonize well with my accessories. Speaking of the accessories, we'll start with my bow tie, which is a lavender-colored madder silk with a micro pattern from Fort Belvedere. My linen pocket square, also from Fort Belvedere, is in a color we're calling orchid, and it has light green stitching and embroidery as a bit of contrast. And my boutonniere is a hydrangea, which remains in the same pink and lavender color family. All of these three accessories work to provide some pops of bright color to the outfit to tone down the somberness of the black suit. My final Fort Belvedere accessory today are my cufflinks, which are platinum-plated sterling silver in a monkey's fist knot design. Grounding the outfit are my socks, which are also plain black, and my shoes, which are plain black cap-toed derbies. This black ensemble is...
Check his pants on his shoes. Is okay. The pants look long to me. The bunching up around here looks long. I feel like they're, but I might only know the fit for trousers. I thought are supposed to very lightly overlap over, I don't know what you would call it, like the lip of your shoe, but if it's bunching a bunch like this, I think that might be too long. But these also, that's just what I've learned. But a lot of this video seems kind of contrary to stuff that I feel like I've read about. So I don't listen to me on anything, but.
Isn't one that I'd wear often, but using the tips we outlined today, I think it works well enough.
Yeah, you could cuff the bottom, although maybe that's not appropriate with trousers. But I think adjusting length of pants is pretty easy to do as well. Oh, actually, he might have already rolled these up a little. So, I don't know. He really doesn't have the profile to look good in a suit. LOL. He used all of his stat points on his face. I feel like if a suit is well made, I think one of the nice things about a suit is I think a suit can make any man's profile or silhouette look good. I think, maybe, possibly. Like I feel like the reason why the profile looks bad or weird here. One, I feel like these pants are a bit too long, but I could be totally wrong about that. But two, the posture looks a bit strange. Like his shoulders aren't back, his chest isn't up. It looks like he's leaning forward a little, but maybe he's like moving around or showing off. Or maybe it's just like a weird camera angle. But the forward neck thing will always make your posture look strange. Okay. Opinion on bow ties? I don't know. I think people wear them, right? They're probably fine. The jacket will always help with the shoulders, but large and help people look goofy. 100% just look up NBA players and bodybuilders. NBA players are freakishly tall. So whatever rules they would have for fashion, it's going to be the same as like people with dwarfism or whatever. Like NBA players are like 6'7" and above. So most even quote unquote tall guys who are like 6'2" or 6'3" don't have to worry about the same things that NBA players have to worry about because they're like outside of the human norms for limb length and body length and everything. And bodybuilders are going to be a way different type of build as well, right?
So you got approval from
Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, James Madison.
Did you get approval from the police department?
No, they don't rank as high as those guys do.
All right. Well, I'll give you a couple bits of information. I can call the head of the police department because him and I are tight, and I'm training to be a police officer in about a year.
Good.
People post this picture all the time. Look at suits from 2006. I don't think that this is correct. I think that these are just like NBA players. Like, I feel like I've seen this posted. Look at the difference between suits in 2006 versus suits from now. These are just NBA players that like wear goofy shit. This is like new money, goofy stuff. Somebody's told to wear a suit and they're given some shit. I don't think like a conventional, well-dressed man from the 2000s is going to wear stuff that looks goofy like this. So it's not like the standard suit wear were pants that were fucking like hugely leaking over your shoes and everything.
Good.
Study astrophysics. This is not the message to give to people to convey what you want to convey.
What is?
The Bible, right? So if I take these signs down, you're gonna call the cops? Because I know the cops, and I know UFPD, and they're not going to arrest me.
Well, we had someone, was it last year, that did that, and they got arrested.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so do you want me to call Sergeant?
Sure.
All right,
By all
I'll
means.
call Sergeant Cooper.
Yeah, please.
University knows we're here.
Yeah,
And
please,
I will
please have them
personally
call.
bring him here.
Please.
No, that's perfectly fine with me. Him and I are quite tight.
Good. Well, we'd love to have a conversation.
No, yeah,
with
we can talk all together.
you. Okay.
Because they know me well.
So is your goal to get us off this plaza or something?
My goal is to send you a different message, one from college students.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
I would like to talk to badge number 88, Sergeant Cooper of UFPD. Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
Is it fun when
you're
it
amusing.
happens to you?
You're amusing.
You're using 911
Hello?
and they're asking you questions. You have to take that system seriously.
Yes, could you put me on the line with UFPD?
I think I know
Ready
why
for
they
it?
know her so well.
You're picking it up.
Yeah, I can imagine why they know you so well.
Yeah. So do you want to take him down, or you want me to get someone to take him down?
Hey, it's a free country until you start touching our stuff. Then you go to
Well,
jail
that's
for
fine.
it.
So, it's funny, isn't it? You can put it on YouTube. My name's Alicia. You can look me up on Instagram.
So good.
Okay. It's cringe. Baltimore trying to teach constitutional law is something. Federal courts have ruled our laws are consistent with the 10th Amendment. Once again, the White House is purposely misleading the American people and making it up as they go. Oh. Yeah, these guys don't give a fuck about anything having to do with the constitutional law, obviously, but for like Stephen Miller and them. But they know.
The other day I had a realization about why traditional recipes often require a bit of tweaking. When you cook on the internet like I do, every time you make something a little different from the way people have made it for generations, you get the comments. What, do you think you're smarter than your grandma? These recipes evolved over centuries. You really think you know better? And the answer is...
Stop spamming the same thing a million times. I ban you when you do this. Destiny, please watch Finkelstein v. Destiny, the musical. This is old as fuck. We've watched it. Stop spamming the same thing over and over and over again in my YouTube chat. Stop.
I think I know better about what kind of recipe will work for me and my life, because my lifestyle is very, very different than that of my ancestors. If you have a device on which to watch this right now, the same is probably true of you. Human life has never changed as rapidly as it has over the last century or so. The tools that we have at our disposal, the ingredients we have at our disposal, and how we obtain them, the time most of us spend working outside the home. These things have all changed so much over the last few generations, and they directly affect how we cook. Anyway, I realized another one of these things recently. Another one of these things that explains why I cook differently than my grandma. Me
Try to do yourself a favor and unsub from this guy if you watch him. He sucks at cooking. What?
and some extended family rented a condo on the beach, as we do for a week every summer.
Do we hate Adam now?
And when it was my night to cook, I made spaghetti and meatballs. Always a crowd pleaser. And without even thinking about it, I found myself making it much closer to the way my grandma made it than the way that I usually make it. You may have seen my old recipe video about this. I usually make spaghetti and meatballs kind of the way you do sweet.
Okay, do you know how some people apparently, somebody said that like 10% of people have some gene that makes it so that you can't eat cilantro or whatever. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It tastes like soap or something to some percentage of people. Is this true of alcohol as well? I refuse to believe, okay? Like trying to drink like 99% of like red wines, for instance, like it tastes fucking horrible. It tastes disgusting. There's no shot that anybody is like drinking any of this shit or like beer and they're like, Tasty taste. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I can't tell if most people are faking their enjoyment of alcoholic stuff, or I don't believe it.
Swedish meatballs? I make pretty small meatballs because I like to get more brown surface area proportionally on each one.
Get it?
I usually don't use any egg in there. I think egg is only necessary for binding big meatballs. And when I'm done frying them in a pan, I build my tomato sauce right there in the same pan. It's a one-pan operation. Deglazed, stir, 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 constantly over pretty high heat, and like 15 minutes after the tomatoes went in, it's done. When I was at the beach cooking for my in-laws the other day, I used egg in the meat. I formed it into absolutely giant meatballs. I fried them in one pan and dropped them into my sauce in another pot, and then I let the whole thing simmer for a couple hours, just the way Grandma Ragusia did it. And why? Because I was cooking for way more people than I usually do. Certain recipes and certain techniques work better for cooking at large quantities, and certain things work better for cooking at small quantities. And a few generations ago, people often cooked in much larger quantities than we usually do today. Why? Because household sizes have absolutely plummeted, at least here in highly developed countries like the United States and...
Okay, fuck you.
The new top health official in the United States is praising a fast food chain. Why? For switching from seed oils to beef tallow.
Maybe we'll watch this. These AI celebrity videos are a weirdly effective way to learn new concepts and insanely viral.
Let's find the size of this 3D vector. 4i plus 3j plus 3k.
Yo, I already learned this in school. Isn't it just the square root of the number in front of the I squared
plus the number in front of the j squared plus the number in front of the k squared? Yeah. But
duh. Thanks, Drake.
Do you even know why?
Not really.
Why even go to school then?
It's not.
Wait, what are we even learning here? I'm sorry,
Let's find the size of this 3D vector. 4i plus 3j plus 3k.
Yo, I already learned this in school. Isn't it just the square root of the number in front of the I squared?
Was he a celebrity? Was that guy a celebrity or like a reactor to the video? I don't even know.
Plus the number in front of the j squared plus the number in front of the k squared. Yeah. But do you even know why?
Why?
Not really.
Why even go to school then?
It's not a big deal, Drake, chill. So remember, finding a vector's size just means finding its length, right?
Right.
And our vector r goes 4 steps in the x direction, 3 steps in the y, and 3 steps up in the z direction.
Sydney, wait. I want y'all to notice that there's like 2 right-angled triangles here. One standing up and one on the floor.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And to find the length of r, we can start by finding the length of this side that's in both of them. Any idea how?
So if you look at the triangle on the floor, is that side the hypotenuse?
Correct. So we can go ahead and use
Pythagoras. So this side's length squared plus this side's length squared equals this side squared. So square root that and we get the length.
Now we can use this side and do Pythagoras again to get the length of the vector.
Oh, that's clever.
Okay.
So now would it be this side squared?
Yep, and that undoes the square root?
Yep, plus this side squared equals the vector's length squared.
That's right. So if we square root it, we get the vector's length.
And that, guys and gals, is why this expression gives you the length of a 3D vector.
Damn.
Perfect.
Thank you, Drake.
Equals 0, solve for x. Go.
Oh,
Who's this celebrity? I don't even know half these celebrities.
Okay, x squared plus 1 equals 0, solve for x. Go.
Oh, this is easy. So we can take away 1 from both sides.
Yep, and then
square root both sides.
How are you gonna square root -1?
Yeah.
Will's right. Think hard about this.
Would x just be -1?
Nope, because -1 squared is +1, not -1.
Oh,
so
shit.
Is it impossible?
Not impossible, imaginary.
Excellent, Savvy. So basically, mathematicians invented the square root of -1 and said it's an imaginary number called I.
So I squared
Wait, who is this guy? Who's the British dude?
equals -1?
Correct.
And minus I squared also equals -1. X has 2 solutions, see?
But these are imaginary.
Oh, that's a guy. Okay, that's a normal guy. Okay, he is a content reactor. Okay, I didn't know if he was a celebrity or not. Sorry.
Yup, not real.
But if I isn't a real number, like, what's the point of it?
Well, apart from letting us solve all sorts of equations, imaginary numbers help
Oh, that's Sabrina Carpenter. Okay.
us represent rotations and oscillations.
Like alternating current.
Now, how can the root of -1 be related to any of that?
Let's cover that in the next lesson.
Wow, thanks.
Let's find the side.
Do you see Will Smith's newest crap song, Incredible YouTube Phenomenon, where it sounds way better at 1.25 or 0.75 speed? Will Smith is still making songs? Wait, fuck. Will Smith, new song. Pretty Girls. Why?
It's been a problem ever since I was a little boy.
Okay.
You know, actually, I think it's gotten worse as I've gotten older. I thought I had it under control, but I'm literally experiencing it right now, like literally this second.
Oh. And how would you define this problem? Can you make me understand?
When was the last time he released music? Why?
I like pretty girls. I love pretty girls. I love pretty girls. You don't gotta wait in line tonight to find for.
Bill Clinton went home to this every day and still decided to cheat. I'm crying. Hashtag Grammys. I don't know what that means. Wait, is this like their daughter? Because she resembles Hillary Clinton, kind of. Okay. Hillary looks like Sabrina? Is this Sabrina? Hold on. I don't know who... this is a pop singer. Some people are mad about it right now. Or I see her posted about it on Twitter a lot. What song have I heard of hers? What's the song that I would know? Sabrina Carpenter. Man Shop? 10 years? Oh, 10 days ago. No. Espresso. Oh, look, we've even listened to it before. I think the same thing has happened before. Yeah, maybe. And then next year we'll look it up again and say, what is this song? We'll be like, oh, we've listened to it before. Okay, I don't know. Her newest album cover has stirred up some controversy. Okay.